I just drove 5 hours to this theme park to buy a t-shirt that they might not even sell anymore. And if I can't find it, I have to ride that drop tower. But I'm afraid of heights. And while we are looking, we may as well ride this crazy roller coaster. It actually hurt. We will also check out this brand new dark ride. And it's stupidly hot again. So we will try to beat the heat by riding this. But we're starting the day in a special way, because I'm here with the theme park meetup. And the park lets us ride their newest roller coaster before anyone else gets in. So we're heading to the back of the park, right past the drop tower that I'm hoping I don't have to ride. After a bit of a hike, we made it. 100% Wolf. It is a family coaster, but the layout is surprisingly dynamic. The lift hill takes you up, and then you go through shallow dips and turns, until you hit an off-axis hill. I did not expect that from a family coaster. After a few more turns, you're on the second lift, which gives you a little lounge forward into the steepest drop of the ride. That sends you straight through the werewolf's mouth and into a spike with broken track. Then you go backwards for a bit, take the switch track, and you're back in the station. And the whole time, you're looking at that coaster over there. It has got the reputation, but that's one for later. Because we got that exclusive ride time, I got quite a few laps in. But this isn't the only thing Plopsaland Deutschland is building. Next year they are getting an intense spinning coaster, similar to Ride to Happiness at Plopsaland Belgium. And that one is regarded as one of the best coasters in the world. So this park is about to have a very strong 1-2 punch. Because they've already got this. This is Expedition GeForce. It has been the main reason to come here for years, and it has won over 40 awards. And it's also why I'm looking for the shirt. You see, the park had a reputation. People said Expedition GeForce was the only reason to visit. So the park leaned into it and made a t-shirt that says, "I am only here for Expedition GeForce." That's the one I want. And this could be the last opportunity, because next year that's not going to be true anymore. So what exactly makes this thing so good? You get pulled up the lift hill, and then you are dropped down a twisted plunge to the ground. That throws you out of your seat straight away. Then you get a camelback with strong airtime, a high-speed turn, and then you are into another hill. And this one sets the tone, because it throws you out of your seat so hard it actually hurts your legs. You take some more turns at high speed, and then you head back to the station. And you will feel it. Hill after hill, each one trying to send you out of the train, until you hit the brakes. Oh. I get it. This coaster is a powerhouse and it delivers on everything. I was a bit worried it was overhyped, especially because I do not like the older brother at Walibi Holland all that much. But this was crazy, and I completely understand why people only come here for Expedition GeForce. But walking out of the station, it hit me. There's no gift shop here, so I would have to find my shirt somewhere else in the park. And the tower kept taunting me from everywhere. But first, it is once again incredibly hot. So we went to look for some cooling. And our first gamble was the brand new dark ride. It is based around the Smurfs, which sounds like the least threatening thing in the world. But this used to be a haunted house, and they managed to keep a bit of that vibe. The queue sets up the story. The villain is making a potion to create Smurf-eating plants. Then on the ride itself, you see Gargamel and his cat Asriel mixing the potion and trying it out. And it works, because from there, the plants take over. They come out of the walls and the ceiling, they start capturing Smurfs, and the village has to fight them off. Eventually, Papa Smurf makes a potion of his own, turns the plants on Gargamel, and saves the village. This was surprisingly elaborate. Even if you hate Smurfs, you will love this ride. But the best part was where it dropped us off. The gift shop. The air conditioning in there was heavenly. And while I was cooling down, I started going through the shirts, because I really did not want to ride that drop tower if I could help it. But I had no luck. The shirt was not here. So onwards we went. And this time we were looking for cooling in the indoor section of the park. It is mostly aimed at kids, but there were a few things we could still check off in here. First up was the big slide. It started off fine, but it really lost speed at the end. Then, right across from it, there was a merry-go-round with farm animals.
Sometimes I make questionable decisions in my life. This is one of those.
This carousel is for the youngest kids, so it went incredibly slow. But at least I got to sit on a piggy. Next to that was another roller coaster. This one is for children as well, but it ended up being surprisingly fun. The lift hill brings you into a dark section of the hall. You take a turn, and then you're back outside for a moment. Then you head back into the dark, take a few more turns, and do the whole thing again for a second lap. Honestly, this was not bad at all. But the biggest surprise in the hall was the spinning ride with swinging seats. You can control your own height with the bar in front of you, and it picked up some decent speed. Not what I expected to find in here, but I'll take it. And with that, we made our way back outside, straight through another gift shop. But there were no shirts in there either. So we stepped back out into the searing heat, and we were right next to the drop tower. But I was not going to be beaten just yet, because we were near the exit, and that meant the main gift shop of the park. And they had shirts. We walked past Expedition GeForce shirts, collaboration shirts, shirts for other rides, all of them, except for the one I wanted. So, as a last-ditch effort, I asked an employee. I asked as well, they didn't have the shirt anymore. So there's only one thing left to do now, and I'm not looking forward to it. But I was walking with a group, and the sun was beating down on all of us, so I was able to put off my punishment for a little while longer. Still, that tower was looming over me. I was not going to be able to escape it. But for now, we were heading into the river rapids, which are themed around dinosaurs. And the queue sets the tone with these little raptors. This tall guy standing in the lake, and this magical floating water dinosaur. Huh? Then, after a few small splashes, I was already wet, which was incredibly refreshing, because the wind hitting my wet leg really cooled me down. But the worst was still to come. After a cave and a bit of drifting, we got to the wave pool. And there, when I was not expecting it at all, I got soaked. A big splash hit me from behind, and I got exactly the cooling I was looking for. You didn't see that happen, sadly. But there was some more water to be found in the park, because next up was the log flume. And this was not only one of the best decisions we made all day, this was also where we found the crowd. Up until now, we had barely waited for anything. Even a coaster like Expedition GeForce was a 1 or 2 train wait. But the log flume was packed, and this turned out to be the longest wait of the day. We were baking out there for 40 minutes, which made it all the better when we finally got to our boat. Yippee! And because of the crowds, we had to squeeze in with a bigger group, so the boat was a lot heavier. You drift along a few turns first, and then a short lift hill takes you into a small drop. And this one is deceptive, because it already gets you pretty wet. Then you head indoors for a second lift hill, where you get turned around for a backwards drop. That one doesn't really do much, apart from a splash that hits you afterwards. Then you get turned around again, and you make your way up to the main drop. We took a small turn, I saw the dreaded tower again, and then we were thrown down the drop. Yippee! No way! That splash looked pretty small from the sidelines, and it completely soaked me. Holy shit, that was a soaker. Amazing with this weather. Perfect. But there were a few more things to do, and I was still desperately trying to avoid the drop tower. So we went to the back of the park, back to where 100% Wolf was, because there was a jet ski ride over there, and the last coaster we still had to do. We did the jet ski first, where you can create a pretty nice wave if you time it right. It still had a decent weight, but at least we had a good view of 100% Wolf while we were still in line. And then the ride itself is just drifting your jet ski around, while trying to hit someone from your group standing on the side. And with that one done, we went to do the final coaster of the day, Skyscream. This is the one I mentioned in the morning, the one with the reputation. These coasters are notorious for their bad restraints, and they are hyped up for their strong launches. Skyscream also tries to fit a horror theme into the queue with a few scares, but this coaster left me screaming for a completely different reason. These coasters are quite compact, so they have to build up a lot of speed in a short amount of track. And while the first launch is not all that fast, The second one gives you a crazy boost and sends you far up the track. Then it adds another punch to get you all the way up to 42 meters, or 138 feet. You will then crawl through an inversion at that height. And luckily, Skyscreen only has lap bars, so it is incredibly freeing. And all those complaints I heard about the restraints just do not apply here. You then drop down into the second loop and head back to the station. And while the launches look crazy, I thought they would feel a lot stronger than they did.
I do feel like it's overhyped a little bit. The launch was pretty good, but not as punchy as I was told it would be. Still, fun little coaster, honestly. Surprised me.
And as for the thing that made me scream, you have probably already spotted it in the footage. I had my GoPro set to photo mode, so the only thing I have from that ride is this beautiful picture of an open lap bar. Oh well, I will just have to come back for it next year, when the new coaster opens. But with that, we had done pretty much every big ride in the park. Except for one. It was time to face that tower. I had managed to avoid it for pretty much the whole day, but not anymore. So the problem is that I have fear of heights, especially on flat rides, and I have never done a proper drop tower before. The closest I have done is a small shot and drop tower at Bellewaerde, which was not all that high or special. This one is the real deal. 70 meters, or 230 feet.
I really don't want to do this.
So we made our way over, and I picked a rope with a view of Expedition GeForce. Now, I'm actually a bit sad the park did not allow us to hand mount a GoPro, which is also why I have no reaction shots for you. So you will just have to enjoy this view instead, which in hindsight was pretty gorgeous. And then, after a slow climb to the top, I did it. I survived my first proper drop tower.
Holy shit, you can't really see it, but I'm still trembling. Like, that is high. That is high up. It was my first drop tower ever, but we survived.
So I did not get my shirt, but I did get over a fear I've had for as long as I can remember. And today was a special day at Plopsaland, because they were celebrating summer nights. So we had a bit more time to kill before the sun would go down, and we would get to see the fireworks show. And there was only one way to do that. Kiddie rides. In the one section we had not been to all day.
I don't even know what I'm doing here, man.
They had a horse ride disguised as crickets, a spinning log, some bouncing frogs, and a spinning flower ride, which actually had some water effects.
Have I truly sunk so low that I'm once again doing kiddie rides to pass time? Why, man? Who am I even kidding? There's only one way to properly kill time.
After an entire day of running in that heat, Expedition GeForce had picked up the pace, and it was even more violent than this morning. From the first drop into those first hills, all the twisting and turning, and then the run back to the station. It was pure insanity.
Expedition GeForce runs so hot right now. It's actually crushing my legs on all the airtime. That's so good.
But before the fireworks, there was actually a different show happening near Skyscreen. A fire show. So I made my way over there. And that is when the exhaustion really hit me. It had been a long day, and we still had to keep going for a little bit longer. I managed to get myself a good spot and got ready for the show. It had dancing, balancing, juggling, and all kinds of different props, to the point where they set the ground on fire and took out the flamethrower for the finale. And with that done, we made our way to the entrance, where a DJ was hyping up the crowd. Everyone was ready for the big show to finish off the day, and so was this little drone. So after a little wait, the music started picking up, and the fireworks started launching. But it did not just stick with fireworks, because they combined it with a laser show, lights, a living disco ball, and a singer. And with a bang, the day was over.
That was a great way to finish up the day here at Plopsaland Deutschland. I'm exhausted, but we actually got to see fireworks. Sadly no shirt, but instead we had to do the drop tower. I would do it again. It wasn't so bad, but damn that height, man, the height. Right, tomorrow trip drill, so make sure to subscribe. And otherwise check out the video right here of the fireworks that I did miss at Toverland. See you there.